welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into a pretty intense ancient text from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 22 specifically, and we're pairing it with some, well, insightful contemporary reflections.
That's right. We're looking at this description of a bloody city facing some really serious judgment.
But here's what caught my eye amidst these, harsh words. There seems to be this surprising message, something about restoration and maybe understanding suffering differently.
Exactly. So the mission today, if you like, is exploring that connection. How a community's actions, the divine consequences described, lead down this, well, unexpected path towards healing.
Okay, so let's get into it. Ezekiel 22 paints this really vivid picture, almost chilling, doesn't it? A city full of tumult.
It really does.
What were the specific things, the abominations, that led to such a stark pronouncement?
Well, the text is quite detailed. It highlights things like princes shedding blood.
Right, leaders causing violence.
And contempt for parents, exploiting immigrants, the sojourner, it says, wronging the fatherless and widow.
So injustice against the vulnerable was key.
Definitely. And also profaning holy things, ignoring Sabbaths. And then there's widespread immorality mentioned.
Yeah, I remember reading about slander leading to bloodshed, various kinds of sexual misconduct, like incest.
Uncovering fathers' nakedness, violating women in different ways, even involving neighbors' wives, daughters-in-law, sisters. It's quite extensive.
And bribery, usury,
Yeah.
basically exploiting others for gain.
And the text sort of sums it up, ultimately, as forgetting God. That seems to be the root.
Wow. It really paints a picture of deep societal decay.
It does. And what's striking, our sources really emphasize this depth. It wasn't just, a few bad apples.
This is systemic.
Yes. The city became guilty by the blood that you have shed and defiled by the idols that you have made. It suggests a complete turning away affecting every level.
A fundamental corruption.
A wholesale abandonment of their core values, you could say, leading to just brokenness.
Okay, so this level of corruption, it leads to severe consequences in the text. It says, I will scatter you among the nations.
And disperse you through the countries. Yeah, pretty harsh.
It sounds like complete destruction, doesn't it? But then one of our sources makes this point. God's goal is restoration, not destruction.
Right.
How do those two things fit together? Judgment and scattering on one hand, restoration on the other, they seem, well, contradictory.
That's a really important question, and maybe one that resonates today, too. Often when people suffer, the tendency is to blame, external factors. Bad luck.
Sure. Anything but our own actions sometimes.
Exactly. But Ezekiel 22, verse 16, it's quite powerful. It says, "And you shall be profaned by your own doing in the sight of the nations, and you shall know that I am the Lord."
By your own doing. So our sources suggest this isn't just punishment for punishment's sake. It's framed more like a kind of tough love.
Tough love. How so?
Allowing consequences to happen to serve as a wake-up call. So people remember God, acknowledge his sovereignty, and hopefully return. It's seen as a path back, not just a dead end.
So bringing this into our time, this ancient story, what does it mean for you listening today? Well, this idea that ignoring God or maybe losing touch with core principles always leads to some kind of brokenness.
In relationships, maybe? Or that growing anxiety we see, that emptiness.
Right, and that really challenges the modern sort of do what feels right mentality, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It suggests consequences are real and maybe even necessary sometimes.
And connecting to the bigger picture, the sources suggest God doesn't expose sin just to crush us.
But to heal.
To heal, exactly. To bring us back into alignment. It suggests that even suffering is somehow within God's sovereignty.
An invitation to humility, to trust.
Perhaps an invitation to find our worth not in, say, worldly success, but in something deeper, like being God's beloved child, as one source puts it, suggesting even tough discipline can be a form of grace.
We've certainly taken a deep dive today, looking at how ancient judgment, maybe surprisingly, points toward restoration.
It's a complex relationship.
It is. So the thought I'm left with, and maybe for you too, is this. If acknowledging correction, even harsh correction, as potentially an act of love can lead to healing and trust, what area in your own life might be calling for that kind of humble reflection? Maybe a moment of surrender, trusting that even difficult discipline could possibly be a sign of grace.